Shane, do you want to go on to the Cowboys?
Well, sure. I um, so the Cowboys. All right, let's let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I I was I was wrong about Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
we
thought
all
he
were.
was a terrible hire last year, and I'm still not like, oh, he's amazing,
Yeah.
but I think he's solid. I think you know I think there was more of a his hire was not just, oh, he's the guy in our building, so we're just going to promote him, but it was more like Jerry actually saw something in him. So all right, I'll take the L there.
Thank God it wasn't a hot tub.
Oh. Oh.
You bring that up every chance you get.
Yes,
It does.
it's
It's
still, it's
the
still,
most bizarre coaching hire.
it's the most bizarre thing in the in like the last 15 years in the NFL. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, no, it's true. So yeah, I mean, this was one of the best offenses in the league last year, and I have no reason to think that won't be the case again. Um, you know, I mean, they have. I'm I'm higher on Dak Prescott than I think most are.
Yeah.
Um, obviously his playoff success is not terrific, but in at least in the regular season, especially in the last couple of years, um, he's not like the most athletic guy. He's not doesn't have the strongest arm, but his processing and his intangibles are just phenomenal. And I think this offense as a whole, I mean, there's guys everywhere. Um, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, I mean, that's a top 2 or 3 wide receiver duo in the league. Um, Javonte Williams, I think, is better than I gave him credit for. And this offensive line is, still not amazing, but I think they're improving. Um, and I really like Jake Ferguson too. I think he's one of the more underrated tight ends in the league.
Like Kelsey.
Yeah, and so yeah, I mean there's a lot to like, obviously, on offense. The problem last year was defense. While their offense was like top 3, their defense was probably bottom 3. This year, they've made some good additions. Obviously, they're going to be on year 2 with Quinnen Williams, who's a stud. And they bring in Rashawn Gary, which I think is a pretty underrated signing, personally. And looking at the secondary, I actually really like their secondary. I think Caleb Downs is going to be great. In addition, I really like getting Jalen Thompson. Darren Bland is obviously solid. So they've definitely got guys. I think their linebacker room definitely has some room for improvement, but I mean, they're not like terrible. Anyways, all that to say, they're, if I'm not mistaken, is Matt Eberflus still their defensive coordinator?
Yes.
So herein lies the problem.
Matt Eberflus is the X factor.
No, he's not, by the way.
Wait, is he?
No, he's an assistant in San
He's
Francisco.
assistant in San
Oh,
Francisco.
so who is it then?
Who is the Cowboys DC?
Remember he was replaced this offseason.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
It's Christian Parker.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't. Duh. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Come on, Brandon. I expected better from you.
Yeah, I know. Listen, once you transition to playing for the or coaching for the enemy, I don't care anymore. So no.
Yeah, so no Eberflus, Shane.
But that,
I mean,
think
yeah.
I like that though for them. Well, obviously, Scoop and I know. So
The problem is though, this guy is a
Youngest coordinator in the league.
coordinator. No,
Yeah.
I don't care about the young part. There's Sean
first year
McVay took over the league as a 30-year-old head coach. I don't give a shit about how old he is. I'm looking at, as you know, and we've talked about it many times on this show, guys who have the pass or run game coordinator title as a massive red flag. Because those are usually the guys on a coaching staff where it's like, oh yeah, this guy's not great, but we like him, so we're going to give him a job. Not saying that's the case here. I'm just saying, generally speaking, that's how that goes. I will. Hopefully, he's good though. I don't wish for anyone's downfall. Obviously, certainly can't be worse than Eberflus. But you
want me to give you guys their win total?
Yes, please.
9.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's about right.
Yeah,
I'm going slightly under. I'm not that.
Yeah, I would take
Dallas.
I would take a slight under. I think 8, 9. Like I think that they. If you had an even number of games this year, I'd see them as a 500 team.
Yeah.
Brandon, Scoop, anything else on Dallas?
I do want to mention one player that I didn't hear mentioned. That being said, my service is terrible where I'm sitting right now, so that could be a operator issue. But I do think Von Miller is worth mentioning on that defense. And I think that he, as a lower reduced role player last year, still had good numbers on sacks, pressure, all of that. So I'm curious to see what happens with him this year in a more pronounced role, and also as a veteran leader on that defense, especially on that defense run by a first-time DC. So I do like him, but Shane, you've got a quizzical look. Did I say something wrong?
Oh no, I forgot Von Miller signed there.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder, I wonder what options he had in free agency, because
not many.
Which is crazy because he had 9 sacks last year.
Nikki, at no point did I say Von Miller was a terrible player. He's probably going to the Hall of Fame.
Not probably.
He is going to the Hall.
Yeah.
He should. If he doesn't, then there's a problem.
Well, still, at no point did I say he was a terrible player.
Well, I met Von Miller like 3 months ago.
What?
And
at this point, I just need Shane to tell me when he doesn't meet somebody, because that's a more rare case.
Yeah, true.
No, but I asked because he was still a free agent at the time. I was like, "You going back to Washington, or what's the deal here?" And he was like, "I'm trying to get back to Denver, man." So
Could you imagine if that current Denver defense added Von Miller to it?
Yeah, no kidding.
Jesus.
So I'm like, well, obviously Denver wasn't interested.
Why not?
But I'm wondering who else might have been. I don't know.
Brandon, any final words on Dallas?
I will say this, and the Gizzies are right about this one. I as much as we give Dak a lot of crap, I mean, I looked this up. I was actually interested in this. I remember that CD had a lot of drops last year. He had the 7th most drops for a wide receiver last year.
Yeah.
So I forgot. I knew he had a lot, but I wanted to see how many he had. I also looked this up. So the most pass yards lost due to drops last season, Dak was 4th. Dak lost basically a whole game's worth of drops. So
Can you
319 passes.
please tell me where Jalen is on that list?
He's actually not even in the top 8,
That astonishes me.
which I don't know how. I guess that they don't count the ones that AJ alligator armed and it went over his head like 1
Well,
foot.
I don't want to reroute this back to Philly, but I just
Yeah,
I
no,
had
I know.
to ask that question.
But yeah, so Dak is top 5 in that. Funny, Bo Nix is 5th, by the way. I had to get my Bo Nix point in there. Speaking of Denver,
Doesn't surprise me at all.
but so Dak lost the 4th most at 319. So he lost basically a whole game's worth of drops. I think that, I'm interested to see the dynamic between Lamb and Pickens because they both were not happy last year. You could see it on the sideline. You could see it during games. They were livid at times. And obviously they both have big personalities.
The fact that Caleb Williams leads that list is astonishing to me.
Yeah, which I don't know. Statisticians weren't looking at the Philly drop passes. Yeah, but I think it's funny you mentioned Von Miller because if you didn't say anything, I was going to because I think he's important because that D line has there's like no good. I mean, Rashawn Gary's okay, but the rest of that D line is awful.
Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Caleb Downs as a rookie.
Yeah, Caleb Downs is my X factor because I mean, if they're gonna do that defense got lit up like a Christmas tree last year. So, like, I mean, if they're gonna have any hope,
got lit up like Jerry's sunshine.
If they're gonna have any hope of doing anything defensively next year, especially with a DB coach now, a first time D coordinator, he knows the DBs. If you're gonna bring in a rookie like that, who's got that much promise, and you sit him down with Christian Parker, he should become a god. So, like, I expect a lot out of Caleb Downs. So honestly, I think if they're gonna want to go far at all at any point next year, win a few more games than they won last year, it's going to be Caleb Downs at secondary kind of doing a lot for them, and that's what they brought him in for. It's why he was such a high draft pick. So